Okay, guys. So found this on my YouTube For You page. A little surprising of a title. I'm just sitting here. I'm scrolling through here. You know what I mean? I'm bored. I'm playing Hades. And I come across a video that says Boogie2988 woke advertising and transphobia. I'm sitting here. I'm like, what? Not our Boogie. No. What are you talking about? I'm curious because I like Big Joel. I don't know how I feel about Little Joel. He's a little bit of a weird guy. But I like the other one, Big Joel. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. I've seen a couple of his videos before. Seems like a nice guy.
For the most part.
Obviously not the same person. Let's just get this going.
So recently, Boogie2988, a kind of first-generation YouTuber, made my least favorite kind of video. It's called Hershey's Candy Bar Cancelled and Boycotted.
Oh man, we're gonna have to watch it now. It's always weird, you know. We gotta watch the. I'll watch it after I finish the Big Joel video. Okay. We've covered it already, but let's go.
The whole thing is about how Hershey's recently featured a trans woman in their advertising for International Women's Day, and he takes this fact to be
and they also featured non-trans women too, you know,
offensive or harmful in some way.
Hershey's, are you not satisfied using women to sell your corn syrup slurry to people?
Okay.
Now you got to prop up trans women too, and have them promote your garbage.
Hershey's.
I feel like maybe if we watch the video, that might have been a facetious bit of a joke from Boogie. That sounds like he might have been kidding. Okay, that's what it comes off. I'm gonna watch the full video. Okay, but it sounds like he might have been kidding. The bigger problem is my wife's in the chat. She's like, now this makes me want to go to Hershey. Same, but I'm too fat to fit on all the rides. It's like, bro, come on. You're gonna sell me addictive sugar, and you can't even fit on your rides. It feels like this is what they do. They feed you really bad food that makes you overweight, and they make a park for overweight people that they can't go on there, so that when you go there, all you can do is eat more and be depressed, and then boom, the cycle continues. It's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle.
He should not engage in political discourse concerning marginal communities. They're a chocolate company. On Twitter, people saw Boogie's thumbnail for the video and his description of it. I hate everything about this stupid shit.
Oh, maybe he wasn't kidding.
And assumed he was being transphobic. And, you know, he seems to get upset about that, saying, so many people think I'm being transphobic just by looking at this thumbnail. Is corporations shouldn't harm trans people to sell their shitty chocolate bars transphobic now?
How would it harm trans people? So first of all, to that thing, you have to be understanding of something. Is that if you're going to put something, like, it's priming your audience. If you say, LOL, trans people smell, your video and the thumbnail of your video is probably transphobic. Maybe it's not.
Seem to get upset about that. About this.
Like this. If you say I hate everything about this stupid shit, like, yeah, it might be a video, and like, listen, it might be a video about how you don't like this stuff. You know what I mean? You can't always expect people to instantly click on your video and be like, oh, they're gonna go for it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna use provocative language, then you're gonna get a more provocative response. That's why I generally try to be a little less provocative in some of my thumbnails and stuff.
So many people think I'm being trans.
Because if you want somebody to come into your video with an open mind, it's better if you provide that resource. And so and there's some videos where I'm a little more clickbaity, but generally speaking, I try to just be like, here's a thing, and then you will go into it and you might be like, oh, okay. Because if you prime your audience in a particular direction, you're going to go into it already with like a thought, and that's the problem. And then, you know, it's hard to deprogram that thought. So
phobic just by looking at this thumbnail. I always find myself skeptical of things like this. Assume that when people pull these kinds of stunts, they're literally just baiting controversy. And so I watched the video. And yeah, I think the video itself is super weird, that it's not just the tweet or the thumbnail. I actually wrote about this because I thought it could go into a later, larger Big Joel video, but then I decided that video
you're Big Joel? What?
Didn't have legs, so I'll just say it now. So there are two striking things about this Boogie rant. The first is how you can clearly see him smuggling his own political convictions and concerns through the smokescreen of the Hershey company.
No offense. I don't think that Boogie has political conviction. I think that he just exists. And he just, listen, I'm not trying to be rude. I feel like he just has thoughts that people want him to have, or he thinks people want him to have. That's why I love triggering my audience on a daily basis. Every day, someone's complaining, oh, blah, 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 blah. To be honest with you, I actually enjoy it because to me, it communicates that I have a new audience of people. Back in the day when I was big on TikTok, did you guys know? I had like a lot of younger, edgier like boys, and God bless young, edgy men, because I was one of those as well. But you know, just like most young people, or especially that age, they loved that I was very based. They didn't really care about the content; they cared about the jokes more, and some of them could be interpreted as you know, I had never had poor intentions, but like, you know, if you make like a little silly joke about women and you don't like women, if the people that watch it don't like women, they're gonna take it in the worst context, but they're gonna think you're based, and they ride or die for you as well. Young boys have a lot of time on their hands, and they can be a little toxic and aggressive, because you know, young men are aggressive. You know what I mean? Hey, it is life. Now I have an audience of people who like, they're very open about disagreeing with me, but they still engage. And I think I have an older, more mature audience, and a more respectful audience. I understand some people get upset when I say like, oh, young people can be a little toxic sometimes, but like, you know, there are young people in my audience too, but people that I have generally tend to be a little bit more, they engage a little more intelligently with my video, and they disagree. You're still always wrong if you disagree with me. But it's better criticism. It's more constructive, and it's not like this toxic sphere. You know, like I'll get criticism on videos that I post, but like the like ratio is still pretty high. Like people tend to still like the video, but they have like constructive criticism where they try to be more constructive. It's nice to have that. I don't know why I went on this rant, but my point is that I think that I don't know. There's a lot of times where you could argue that Boogie's fence sitting on a topic. I've talked about it in the past. I think most people have. And that usually comes along with like being kind of enthralled by audience capture and not really feeling like you're able to say something that your audience doesn't agree with. So
as the video ends, he briefly talks about whether or not trans women belong in the celebration of International Women's Day, and he says this:
should trans women be used to promote International Women's Day?
Used, not included in.
And I got a few things to say about that. I don't think anybody's going to like it.
I don't really care. I don't think people are going to like it. I'm going to say something that I feel is based so that my audience will think I'm fucking based.
I mean, this is the thing that got J.K. Rowling in so much trouble as well. So I don't know if I should offer my opinion here because I'm not a woman, but I'm going to offer it.
Okay.
So let's get canceled. I genuinely don't know. Should there be a special day for trans women? I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I think it's an extremely complicated topic.
Who cares about women?
I have a gut feeling that says maybe trans people deserve their own day, and that's when we should celebrate them.
Watching this,
it kind of comes off as like, it's so hard to, I don't know how to articulate this. It kind of comes off as like he's being like the nice guy. It's like, oh, I don't think trans women should be included in Women's Day because if we include trans women on Women's Day, don't they deserve their own day? So maybe we just give them their own day. It's like it would be like if I was like, yeah, you know, I don't think that we should include you know, black women on International Women's Day because maybe they should have their own day. I think that personally, I love black people so much. Maybe they should have their own water fountains, and maybe they should have their own schools, and maybe they should have their own school lunches. And you know, it's almost like this. It's almost like a segregationist thought in a nice way. Like, yeah, I don't care. I think that like the Hershey's, who gives a fuck? Like, that's really what I come down with the chocolate bar. I just don't care. You know, when it comes to I just don't care. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If anything, I think that maybe we should have a little bit more representation of trans men, and when it comes to things about men, but like men don't really have like a National Men's Day, so you can't really have trans men be platformed on that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, if you say that, just be like, yeah, I don't think it should happen. And you could come up with like an argument of like, oh, I feel like the prevalence of trans women is phasing out cisgender women's opportunities. I don't agree with that in this Hershey sense because it's a fucking candy bar. I don't give a shit. You know, you could probably apply that to like sports more. But at least like say something and then like, I don't like this person. Just say something like that. Just be like, you know what? This is how I feel about a topic. I don't know. Should we stick tubes in our cock? You know, I don't know.
You can't help but think, oh, so that's really what it's about, isn't it? Boogie doesn't feel confident that trans women are women to the extent that they should be celebrated when women are, and it seems obvious that this is part of what bothers him about the Hershey's campaign. Simply put, he disagrees with them. He doesn't like, or at least has misgivings about, their choice to celebrate a trans woman.
True. And I think the bigger issue is that he's not owning it. Just that. I think that would be the one. Just be confident about it.
The other striking thing about the video is how nakedly preposterous the whole thing is. Boogie says this Hershey's campaign does harm, that it's disgusting.
This is all designed to be outrage baked.
That might be true. Maybe Hershey's has realized that if they make something trans affirming, and I don't know if this is true, but maybe if they make something trans affirming, that internet people will complain about it, and then it'll generate hype for them. You know, it's almost like the J.K. Rowling thing. What ended up happening? You know, J.K. They made the Harry Potter game, and then some people were really upset because it's attached to J.K. Rowling, and then like transphobic people bought the game. I'm not saying you're transphobic if you bought the game. I'm saying I only bought the game because I'm transphobic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm saying that there are plenty of people that are like, oh, I'm gonna buy 2 now. Like I have like a joking like short where like I made a joke about like a trans person was like, oh, this game is transphobic. If you buy it, I'm gonna block you. And I was like, oh, I agree. By the way, I'm gonna do a giveaway, which I never did because it was a joke. So stop asking. And then so many people were like, oh, I'm going to buy 2 now, lol. Like some people are buying it just out of spite of trans people. And so there might be people who are and they get free advertising as well. You know, there's nothing more viral than a hate campaign. It's possible. And it's also possible that they're just trying to include trans people. I don't really know. But I wouldn't doubt that a corporation would have like a more of a monetary focus in trying to get that, you know. And maybe this is working in the opposite direction for other people that are like really trans affirming to be like, oh, look at these conservatives. I'm buying 2 now just to say fuck you. It's possible. That part is possible. I don't think it makes it harmful per se. You know, but
they don't give a shit if they hurt women or they hurt trans people in the process. Genuinely, they don't give a fuck.
But how? Transphobia is not produced by the featuring of trans people in ads, and to imply such a thing is absurd. Transphobia is a very real and violent force in our culture. It takes the form of hate crimes and bigotry and legislation and chocolate bars. Very explicit genocidal rhetoric.
Transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely.
Whoa!
The whole preposterous ideology.
How exactly is Hershey making...
I agree. We should make it so that all trans people have access to gender-affirming care so that you can't tell that they're trans, so that it's no longer part of our public conversation. Because, listen, let's be real. As a man, once your dick gets hard for something, you like it more. You can sit here and be like, that's not true, public. It's fucking true, okay? It is actually one of the fundamental aspects of being a man, is saying, I would fuck that, so I like it more. That's why I like dogs so much. I'm just kidding. But it is kind of true. It's a little bit true. You know? My trans advocacy comes from me coming across trans porn when I was 12. I'm like kidding, but it's kind of true. Not the well, okay. You know, let's move on.
Making more of that with this ad. How is it fueling anything? If anything, it's quite the opposite. Boogie goes on and on talking about how this ad campaign is baked, that it's trying to fuel the culture war.
And no one gives a crap that it makes the culture war around women, around trans people, versus left versus right, worse. They don't care as long as they're selling their garbage chocolate. It is garbage chocolate.
But to the extent
why
that it is fueling the culture war.
Hey, I like me some chocolate with nuts in it, if you know what I'm saying.
It's a good thing, or at least a neutral one. To blame transphobia on the celebration of trans people is like blaming homophobia on the public existence of gay people. It's a fundamentally cowardly perspective that responds to the increasing pressure to eliminate trans people from public life with the answer, yeah, I guess we should do that. I guess not doing that is just fanning the flames of oppression. Yes, trans people do, in some sense, cause transphobia, in that transphobia could not exist without them, but to solve...
I think that, like, your best... I don't think that Boogie has an actual fleshed argument on this. The best argument that you could come up with is maybe they shouldn't have made a trans woman the head of International Women's Day, or I don't know if it's national or international, whatever. Because society is going too fast in the acceptance of trans people, and I think that we just need to take it slower. Maybe you could argue that. I wouldn't, but like you could probably argue that. Like, yeah, I think it's just a little too quick. I don't think that people are ready for the conversation. If you want to say that, that's fine. At least there's an argument there. But like fundamentally, like, yeah, whatever, man. It's just including trans people. It doesn't really matter.
That problem by not...
Plus, the trans girl is kind of hot on the bar. And like I said, that's the only thing that matters to men. Okay.
Not talking about or showing trans people
okay.
Isn't the solution at all. It's...
Why do you think cheating isn't illegal? I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy, but you know what I mean? If women like to cheat, it'd be illegal. I would support that.
Literally just more of the problem. I understand not wanting to defend the Hershey company. I'm not trying to cape for them. They're a soulless corporation. But you can see here in this video how this fad of opposing woke marketing can very quickly just become reactionary. It can act as a justification for bigoted beliefs, and it can treat the very presence of marginal
Or small-a-did beliefs.
Groups and media as a problem that needs solving. It's tiresome. It employs a veneer of woke concern for oppressed people to say harmful things, and I hate it. So, Boogie, I don't think you are a hardcore conservative, and I hope maybe you watch this video and change your mind, but yes, your video is transphobic. It's not the Twitter police taking you out of context.
Okay. All right, let's watch Boogie's video now.
Today's news, let's see, nuclear war, World War III.
Oh, it's Intergalactical Women's Day. Wow, incredible.
People are arguing over a candy bar. International Women's Day is coming up in like 6 days from the day I make this video. And Hershey's, which is a company that makes literally chocolate-flavored poison for humans to consume.
Oh wow, he got dunked on a little bit on this video after little Joel, little Joelith.
Hey everybody,
made his video. Oh, it was 4 days ago. Oh yeah, maybe that's why. Oh, maybe that's why Boogie got so upset. Wait a minute. Oh no, is it all building together? Building? Oh my god, is it all building together? He got dunked on the Hershey's chocolate video, and so then he made a sympathy bait video. Oh. If I assume the worst in his intentions, that would be what I would think. But I want to believe that that's not true. What is this video? Stop.
So today I want to talk to you a little bit about being a lol cow.
Oh no! I think stop caring. Oh, it's all coming together. Makes video, gets backlash. Makes sympathy video, makes video about not caring anymore. What's happening?
Has decided that they want to get in on the act. No, it's bad enough that we're talking about a chocolate company using International Women's Day as a way to sell chocolate to people. That should be enough to piss you off?
Why would it piss me off? It's just par for the course. Like, it's normal. Like, I don't have to piss me off, okay? Like,
but it gets worse. Hershey's also made this ad featuring a trans woman by the name of Faye Johnstone to help promote.
If your argument is that like you don't think that Hershey cares about trans people, maybe you're right. Hershey, the company, doesn't care. I'm sure like whatever marketing advertiser might actually care. But like, who cares?
There are candy bars, and I have a lot of things to say about that. Hershey's, are you not satisfied using women to sell your corn syrup slurry to people? Now you got to prop up trans women too and have them promote your garbage?
So he used the word prop up. So I thought he was being facetious because prop up is usually like a positive thing. Like, oh, now you have to prop up trans. I thought he was being sarcastic, but I feel like he may not be.
Now here's the thing. If you have not been on the internet for as long as I have, you may not have recognized this for exactly what it is. This is classic bait.
It's an ad campaign, yeah.
And do not think any other way. Okay. They know exactly what they're doing at Hershey's or whichever advertisement company they hired to get involved with this. And people took the bait, and we're going to look at that. We're going to make fun of them a little bit. But just remember, this is all designed to be outrage bait. And they don't give a shit if they hurt women or they hurt trans people in the process.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. Maybe it's outrage bait. Maybe they know. Like I said before, maybe that is part of it. If he stopped there, it would have been fine. But it seems like he goes on to a tangent about how it's harmful to trans. I don't know.
They don't give a fuck. As usual, nobody likes these types of advertisement campaigns. And you shouldn't.
There's probably people who do in the real world. You know, I could imagine. Like, 'cause here's the thing. Like Boogie said, I've been online for a long time. You develop TOBS, the terminally online behavior syndrome. Okay. Sorry. I gotta clear my throat. I could imagine that there's like some trans woman that walks up and sees the Hershey bar and goes, "Oh my god, like I feel included." I don't know what it's like to feel that way because I'm a straight white cisgendered male. I'm based and I'm red pilled. I'm just kidding. But like I can imagine that'd be a cool experience. Like, wow, that thing. Like for me, the most comparable experience is like if I saw something. I don't even know. Oh, I saw a magazine with a game I like on it, and it wasn't a gaming magazine. I feel so represented. I don't know. I don't know. But I can imagine it might make you feel good to have like to see some form of representation. You know what I mean?
Leaning left. I don't like them because I feel like women and trans people are people.
Oh,
not a tool to be used to sell your new electric vehicle or your sugary drink or your chocolate flavored poison. These are.
What about like porn? Is it okay to use women to do that?
Actual people with real social issues, and these social issues should not be used to sell your terrible products. Then there's people like this, which is mind-boggling to me. I guess they just don't like that trans people exist. But he's like, goodbye, Hershey. I love you for many years. You brought a lot of happiness to my sweet tooth. Now you've gone woke, and this is unforgivable. You'll never even receive another dollar from me or my family ever again. I hope you go bankrupt for your stupidity. This is insane. Taking a look at this guy's profile, I think his problem isn't that, these types of ads are bad for women or bad for trans people. He just doesn't like the fact that trans people and women exist.
Well, I think that he probably is transphobic.
He doesn't want Hershey's taking part in International Women's Day. And I can't say that he's entirely wrong. I want to know where the money's going. Because when you look at
to the company, I don't know.
Hershey's own blog about this, they say they're proud to recognize, honor, and uplift women and girls. They are showcasing the power of women around the world. And their global activations include meaningful partnerships, celebratory packaging, and inspirational storytelling. Okay. Where's the money going, though? It's going into your pocket. Is it going to help women? Is it going to save women's lives? Is it going to help women in oppressive countries?
As a company, we have been on an international journey of celebrating and investing women in our workplace and communities through equal pay, career development, representation, and leadership, working with women-owned businesses. So that's what it says on your own screen. Now, you could look into that further, but that kind of answers your question there.
No, it's going back into your pocket so you can keep making people around the world fat.
I guess.
This isn't a useful thing to do. And as usual, this has got people on Twitter tweeting hashtag.
Maybe your fat bias is taking over a little bit. I have some self-control problems when it comes to eating as well. So I get it, but at the same time, you can't project that onto everybody.
Boycott Hershey's. And as we all know, that there'll probably be some people on the right who hate wokeism, who hate trans women, who hate women in general, on the right-hand side boycotting Hershey's. But this is going to get a bunch of leftists to rush down to their local Walmart and buy a bunch of Hershey's in support of that.
This part might be true, sure.
And no one gives a crap that it makes the culture war around women, around trans people, versus left versus right, worse.
Maybe. I feel like it's something for people to be upset about for 2 days and then make a video and then move on and not really care. And then that slowly kind of invades the mind of the existence of trans people. So they don't, especially since they used a bombshell trans woman. Listen, I know that you're probably not, you'll get it when you get it. When you get older, you're like, that's a factor. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm just a man. I'm a dog. Okay, I'm just a fucking goblin.
I don't care as long as they're selling their garbage.
But I'm always fucking correct.
Garbage chocolate. It is garbage chocolate. As a fat man, let me promise you, I would rather put any other brand of chocolate in my face than a fucking Hershey's bar.
Why?
And if you're wondering whether or not Hershey's knows they're doing damage, of course they do. This is a company that uses child slaves.
Oh yeah, that's unfortunately, yeah, I'm sure that's true. They use like stuff from other countries to get their cacao. Yeah, that's a separate issue that you should complain about more. It's interesting how people are more offended by the trans woman than the actual slavery. The slavery part is just an attachment to the trans woman part, but nobody cares about it independently. This is one of those like unfortunate realities where it's like we don't really care about a problem. We kind of pretend to care about a problem. I'm not trying to be rude, but like, oh, nobody really cares. Like, unfortunately, our society doesn't care as much about this. The fact that like Nestle steals water and shit from like other countries and stuff like that. There's a whole fucking video about it. Until it comes to like some kind of like a stupid, shallow trans woman. Not the trans woman's not shallow, but shallow campaign. Like that's, oh, well, they have a trans woman. Well, guess what, guys? They also do slaveries. Like, which one's worse to you? Because your main topic of your video is the trans part, I'm just saying.
To pick its chocolate. So no real big surprise. They're not exactly humanitarians. Yeah. I do have to say.
So I make my own chocolate in the toilet.
Some of these memes are pretty fire, though. Even though I know this is tweeted from a right-handed account, as a leftist, I agree, man. I'm just trying to buy chocolate.
As a leftist, baby. As a leftist, it's the person's account. He tried to hide it. It looks like they're called Nightingale. Are you simping for this person, Boogie? Is that why you showed that video? Hold on, let me see something. N-E-N-G. Look this up. Let's look it up. Let's see. Bro, let me tell you something. Okay, wait, does Boogie follow this person? Disney follows them. Hey, maybe my penis theory is right. Maybe he only saw this tweet because he follows her because she's an attractive woman, and that means that my penis tweet makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. I'm telling you, this is it makes sense.
I was definitely going to walk by Hershey's to get something better, though. Here's another good one. I can excuse slavery, but I draw the line at trans people. You can excuse slavery?
That's kind of what you're, ironically, a little bit what's going on here. But
now, in an effort to find the actual conversation that Hershey's is using to sell their chocolate here, should trans women be used to promote International Women's Day?
Well, I mean, I think saying "used" is a little disingenuous, since I can't guarantee this, but I'm going to assume that trans woman consented to being in that advertisement campaign. So I don't know if she was used. Okay, she might have actually wanted to be part of it. I don't know if maybe they grew her in a lab. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
And I got a few things to say about that. I don't think anybody's going to like it. I mean, this is the thing that got J.K. Rowling in so much trouble as well. So I don't know if I should offer my opinion here.
Well, J.K. Rowling donated money to anti-trans organizations and platform people who explicitly do not like trans people, or shouted them out. A little different, Still, Hogwarts, you know what? The game was kind of bad, in my opinion. It was just boring. Well, maybe I'm not an RPG kind of guy. You know what I mean? Harry Potter's not bad. I always say this. The biggest issue that J.K. Rowling engages in is that now people are deciding to be dear genders instead of identifying with the dear Patronus. You know what I mean? That's where all these neopronouns are coming from, because they can't like Harry Potter anymore because it's transphobic. So now they got to go make up new genders. It's crazy. That's the real sin.
Here, because I'm not a woman, but I'm going to offer it. So let's get canceled. I genuinely don't know. Should there be a special day for trans women? Should trans women be celebrated on International Women's Day?
Well, isn't it International Women's Month? Oh, it was just a day. Oh, thank God. Whew. I thought I was gonna have to care about women the whole month. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay, it was just March 8th. Okay. International Trans Women's Month. Oh, that doesn't look like there is one. Maybe or day. Is there a Trans Women's Day? I don't even know. Whatever. Okay.
Should there even be an International Women's Day because we're all humans? I don't know. I think it's an extremely complicated topic. I have a gut feeling that says maybe trans people deserve their own day, and that's when we should celebrate them.
I got a gut feeling, guys, but I'm not committing to it. That's what you're supposed to hear. I have a gut feeling, but I'm not committing to it. If you think trans women should have their own day, just say, I think trans women should have their own day, and they shouldn't be doing that. Just be an adult about it. Just say a thing that you mean, Like, holy moly.
But here's what I do know. Hershey's should stay the fuck out of it. You're a chocolate company, you dipshits. And make no mistake, Hershey's knows that they are sowing the divide further. They know they're pitting the left versus the right.
I don't think it's that deep.
And invigorating bigots and invigorating people on the left and making everyone angry, all for the purposes of selling their subpar, disgusting chocolate bars.
Bro, why is it subpar? Like, I don't understand. What makes Hershey's chocolate so bad? I don't understand. I don't get that part. Like, I don't understand the obsession with how bad the chocolate. Like, it almost comes off as like this is a fucking Hershey's hit piece at this point. Like, he hates Hershey's so much that he had to fucking make this. The chocolate's disgusting. What other chocolate is there? How many different chocolates are there? Russell Stover's? I don't know.
Like Lindt doesn't exist. Like Russell Stover's doesn't exist.
Fuck, I was right.
You ain't even real chocolate, Hershey's. So
Damn,
that was a hell of a way to
Russell
start my day. I'm going to go have some lunch, and I probably will finish it off with not a Hershey's dessert.
You probably shouldn't have a dessert in general. Boogie.
Not because of the boycott, not because of this controversy, just because it's shitty chocolate.
Okay.
As always. Thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I will speak with you again soon.
Okay.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.